I think we really started to build confidence in ourselves and as an organization that we were becoming the industry experts within our respective spaces. And we were getting some really positive feedback from our peers within the industry. At trade shows, we'd get feedback from some of our executives that would come back and be like, wow, you guys are making some waves within the industry with what you're doing, the content you're creating. And I think for leadership down, it just reinforced that they made the right decision in investing in it, and that it is kind of a game changer when it comes to how you can run your business and attract new customers.
Welcome back to Endless Customers. My name is Alex Winter, and today I'm joined by our friends from Mazzella Companies. We have Mike Minissale, the Director of Marketing, as well as Michael Close, who is the Corporate Marketing and Communications Manager. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thanks,
Alex. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, really excited to have you on the show. This is your first time, but you guys have been like the OG clients of Impact, and you have an incredible story that I can't wait for our audience to hear about today. So I think a good place to start is to give a little bit of the history and the background on what Mazzella Companies is, how it started. Just give people a little background on what you guys do and what it's all about.
Sure, I could start.
Okay.
So this is kind of ironic. This is the 70th anniversary of Mazzella Lifting. It was started in 1954.
Wow.
So by our CEO's father, Jim Mazzella Sr., and now Tony Mazzella is CEO, and then he's got two sons, Adam and Matt, that are now presidents of the lifting business and the metals business.
Wow. 70 years. That's unbelievable.
Yep.
Wow.
Small town company started in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah.
And now today we're 1,300 plus team members and 45 plus locations throughout North America.
Wow. 1,300 employees and what was how many locations? You cut out for a second there.
45.
45 across the country. Wow, that's incredible. So I think a good entry point, right, for our They Ask You Answer community, our Endless Customers community. Where did that start to come into play for you as an organization? So you've had a 70-year run. At what point did you guys start to see either an opportunity, or maybe you're having some problems with your marketing, or you wanted to make a shift? Like, can you paint that picture for us as far as where the company was and what got you into looking for new alternatives and new ways to market the business?
Yeah, certainly. So 2016, I saw Marcus speak at Content Marketing World in Cleveland, Ohio. And then, ironically, a month or two later, our Vice President of Marketing, Bill Franz, and our CEO, Tony Mazzella, saw Marcus speak at a Vistage meeting. So we kind of compared notes, and Tony said, this is a secret sauce we've been missing. We've always been strong on the sales side, but we needed to kind of find that missing piece to, kind of bring sales and marketing together. And then the first of 2017, Marcus came in and did a private session with the company leadership and some managers. And then Mike Close was one of the first hires in May of 2017, and the journey just kind of took off from there.
Wow. Wow, that's absolutely incredible. So you heard Marcus speak, which we've all heard Marcus speak. He's pretty infectious. He's got a ton of energy. It's undeniably hard not to pick up what he's putting down. So that was really the first shift when you saw him talk. And do you remember what like the big takeaway for Tony was, or what he really brought back from that conversation that like started the moves towards where you are now?
So I think the session I saw was breaking down silos between sales and marketing.
Okay.
And we were really, really divided back then. Sales was the leader. Marketing was just kind of a small fish in the big pond. So I think that was the first way to sort of start bringing sales and marketing together.
Nice. And
I've heard Tony say too, that, we were in the process, I think, of implementing the challenger sales model. And that was kind of the back end process for, how you worked with the customer and how you managed your sales process. And really, he saw They Ask You Answer as the front part. This is how we get awareness and we build our brand to then start to build off of that challenger sales model.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So once he saw the writing on the wall, if you will, and he started to get the idea of like, all right, we need to really unify marketing and sales, What was the first step internally for you guys to actually make that happen, and what did that strategy start to look like as you started to bridge those gaps?
So I think it goes back to hiring the first video producer and content manager. I mean, the original book, They Ask You Answer, says you need a dedicated team. You can't have anybody do it part time. And that's certainly when, Mike was brought on, that Mike was a dedicated resource. Separate from the marketing team was, we had a graphic designer, myself, and an intern. So we were very small. We couldn't take it on as a part-time job. Marcus really said, hey, it's a full-time job. You need a dedicated resource.
Yeah, it's so true. And we see that all too often where people maybe dip their toe in the pond or go half in with a part-time, or they try to do it with their team in place, and it doesn't always work out. So it was great that you leaned into that. So Mike, coming into that equation for you, what was that like coming into the team and hearing these new ideas and starting to figure out a way to actually implement this and get it going?
Yeah, well, it was exciting because I was brought in, and our videographer, we were brought in pretty much at the same time. I started a week before our national sales and marketing meeting
Oh, wow.
that we had down in Florida. We had about 150 people, I want to say. Marcus was actually the keynote speaker. So he was literally rolling this out to the entire organization as a new framework for how we were going to go to market, and what our sales and marketing strategy was going to be going forward. So for me, I was also kind of excited to hear from Marcus what I was going to be doing, because I was so brand new that it was really exciting. And then obviously a ton of energy coming out of that. Really, we got right to work as soon as we got back, and we started meeting with the businesses and started taking the Big Five framework and coming up with new questions and topics that we could address through both written articles and video.
I love that. I love that. So there's two things that I'm hearing, right? The first thing that I want to talk about is the all-in mentality. It feels like from the top down, from Tony and Mike with leadership, it was like this company is going all in on this, and this is going to become the strategy. Is that fair to say that that's what happened?
100%.
Yeah, very much so. And I think even the book says that you got to have buy-in from the top down. It
Yep.
doesn't work if Mike or I brought it and tried to, go bottom up with it. Really, Tony bought in, wholeheartedly 100%, 110%, and I think that's a success of the program today.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really important thing for our audience to hear too, is that it starts from the top down, and the buy-in is so critical and important if you want to have the success like these folks have had. So once you got the buy-in and the strategy, we get into the Big Five. So you mentioned the second piece here that I was going to bring up, Mike. You mentioned the Big Five, and you mentioned a few of these pieces. Can you talk a little bit more for people who maybe don't know a lot about They Ask You Answer or Endless Customers, how much content we're talking about producing and what that actually translates into?
Yeah, so we were doing 2 pieces a week, articles and videos, and we've scaled it since then, and that's something that we've maintained in the 7 years since we've been doing that. But really, yeah, I mean, it's all about consistency, consistently publishing. I think another big thing, tying it back to support from the top down, is that we knew that that was what we were brought in to do. We weren't going to get involved in having to plan trade show logistics or plan other meetings and things like that. We really had the commitment that that was our main focus, and that's what we were brought in to do. So I really don't know how you could do it effectively in a part-time situation.
Yeah.
One thing's always going to win out, and it's probably going to be whatever fire you're trying to put out. So kind of shielding us from a lot of that in the very beginning, I think, was really why we had some early wins and some early success.
Yeah, can we talk a little bit about that too? What were some of the early wins or some of the bigger pieces that impacted like the trajectory of this and getting some traction?
Yeah, well, we were in 3 coaching sessions with Impact every single week.
Wow.
So we were doing HubSpot training with you guys. We were doing content training, and they were doing video training as well. And I think another thing that really made it so successful is we had a smaller team at the time, but our whole team was invested in being part of all 3 trainings. So our designer, our videographer, our content specialist, Mike, we had an intern, we had the VP of marketing at the time. Everybody was sitting in, getting the same messages, learning the same things from you guys and your trainers at the same time. And really, I think that helped just, get us laser focused
Yeah.
But some of the early wins we saw was, we had an article, I think we did, What is an Overhead Crane? That showed up in the number one spot literally within like 48 hours. We were number one. And that was one of our big pieces. That was, I think, even at the time, the content trainer told us, like, hey, I've never seen something rank so quickly. That's awesome. And, we started to see increases in traffic month over month. We saw more and more keywords. We were doing measuring and analyzing our keywords through SEMrush and some other tools. And really, I mean, it's kind of like the hockey stick effect. I would say it took a little bit, maybe 6 or 8 months before we really felt like we were getting some traction, but just being consistent and sticking with it and not giving up, we really did kind of see that exponential hockey stick growth effect take hold. And really ever since.
That's so exciting to hear. Yeah, and you really have had that hockey stick like effect, and it must be motivating to be able to see those results in real time, because it just keeps you wanting more and keep pushing that hockey stick like effect to keep going in the right direction. So Michael, for you as the director of marketing, how was the coaching and training, and like you're meeting on a regular basis 3 times a week with different facets of the company with everybody in there? What was that like for you from like a management perspective, and how did that make you feel from like accountability and just like making sure things were staying on track?
I thought, well attended. Some of it was like drinking from a fire hose early on until we kind of really fully grasped, the idea, the concept, what have you. And,
Sure.
but I think everybody started to get it at the same time, and everybody clicked. And, we use the terminology of a flywheel. It started very slowly, but when that flywheel got going, it's a machine now. I mean, it's cranking. When everybody's on board, it's moving.
Yeah, that's so cool to hear, so wonderful to hear. So with the flywheel starting to crank, it's little time to get some traction going. It's like a slow down to speed up sort of mentality. But once it's really cruising, what were some changes that you saw in the process, or like how it shifted the business and where it took the business as you started to get these results and as it started to ramp up?
I think one of the biggest things was, one of the things that Tony Mazzella really believes in is the idea of preeminence. So, you're an expert at what you do, and either the answer or where to go to get the answer when it comes to kind of industry best practices, questions that your customers have, solving complex challenges, things like that. I think we really started to build confidence in ourselves and as an organization that we were becoming the industry experts within our respective spaces. And we were getting some really positive feedback from our peers within the industry. At trade shows, we'd get feedback from some of our executives that would come back and be like, wow, you guys are making some waves within the industry with what you're doing, the content you're creating. And I think for leadership down, it just reinforced that they made the right decision in investing in it, and that it is kind of a game changer when it comes to how you can run your business and attract new customers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Is this typical for other companies or like other organizations that are in your industry? Like, are other people doing this? Were other people doing this at the time? Or is this, because I feel like this isn't a typical thing for a metals and like heavy lifting company to have like a huge marketing squad with videographers. It doesn't seem typical. So is that true? And do you have other competitors maybe that are trying to do the same thing? Or were you really the only ones doing it in your field and in your space?
No, I think we're the only ones doing it in our space. There's some people that have started to dabble with it,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we found out that they were gung ho on day one, and then they couldn't have enough content to fill the pipeline, and they just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah.
So we've really maintained from day one in 2017 till today. We haven't lost a beat.
Yeah. No, you've definitely been keeping your foot on the proverbial gas pedal and going full steam ahead. So 2-part question. How has that bridged the gaps with your marketing and sales teams as far as like sales using marketing to create content and to help them sell and close deals faster? And then part 2 of that is, how did that scale Mazzella into companies, which is plural, and how much it's grown the business overall and all these subsidiary companies that have come out of it?
Question 1, Mike.
Yeah, I'll talk about how we scaled it, and maybe Mike can talk about the revenue team concept.
Perfect.
But yeah, I mean, really, like I said, we had some early wins. We were starting to see we were ranking higher in search engines. Our site was getting more and more traffic each month. We had more leads coming in through HubSpot month over month. I think we started to get the buy-in from the sales team. And like I said, we were showing some early wins to the executive team, which kind of validated the investment in hiring a team and investing in the training with Impact and HubSpot and all that. Really, I think some of the other businesses started to get a little bit jealous. Like, well, hey, you guys are focusing on overhead cranes right now. When are you going to switch over to metal roofing? So we were able to go and hire a second content team pretty much within 6 to 8 months after starting with the lifting business. And then probably even shorter time frame for that, we brought in more content resources, more resources to the team overall to start supporting, all the design work that comes from creating things like ebooks and checklists and downloads and guides. Added more resources to the video team, added a video editor, added a couple additional content specialists to continue writing. So, and even more recently, within the past 2 years, we've created an internal team that focuses just on answering the questions that our team members have, and then also creating content that can be used for recruiting and awareness about working for a company like Mazzella or Sheffield Metals or New Tech Machinery.
Wow, that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. I love that there were other facets of the business that were almost getting jealous of the content coming out for the heavy lifting or whatever part you were focusing on, and it was like, hey, we want to get in on that. And that sort of friendly competition or jealousy is what you want to have internally, because it helps motivate the team to bring their best work and to do their best work, which is just so cool to see.
Alex, if I can add to that,
yeah,
they
please.
saw pretty much, exponential growth too, like right away. It wasn't just on the lifting side. When the other businesses started, they saw significant, increase in visibility, website hits, as content started to get produced.
Wow. So let's talk about the other parts of the business, because there's a lot. You guys have a lot of facets of this business, and it's really incredible. So can you paint that picture for us first, and then we'll talk about how this all played into that?
Sure. So Mazzella Companies is really divided into two business units. One is a lifting side, which does overhead cranes, slings, anything that a crane touches, plus an overhead crane. The metals business is they sell architectural metals to the distributors and end users to go on, commercial buildings, homes, etc. And then New Tech Machinery produces the machines that take the raw coils and sheets and produce the wall panels, gutters, or roofing panels. Sheffield is kind of like the staple, and New Tech Machinery is like the stapler. So they take the staple raw, put it in the machine, and out comes the the finished product. So really, they work hand in hand together. Wow. So NTM certainly has seen extraordinary growth. When they're with this content out there for them. So every year they have a record, sales volume, machine sales, the whole bit. The other thing is when the team goes to trade shows, Thad Barnett on the metal roofing channel for Sheffield Metals, they like fanboy him. They just love, it's like, hey, you're the guy from the metal roofing channel, and I was somewhere with Mike Close a couple of years ago too. It's like, hey, you're the guy on the lifting and rigging channel.
How cool is that, though? Do you feel like that just opens up so many conversations that you maybe wouldn't have had in the past when you're at these trade show events and everyone's hitting the pavement?
I think so. I mean, I think it's so important for our branding and our branding strategy is, we kind of intentionally don't tie the brands to the YouTube channels. We don't hide who we are either by who we have on camera and our subject matter experts, but it really is huge for our branding. And then, like I said, it kind of goes back to that idea of preeminence and tying it back to being the experts at what you do. And, even internally, it's funny, like we'll have people that have joined the company like 30 days ago, and we'll sit down in a classroom with them, maybe as part of like new hire orientation. And Ben Hanks, who's the videographer for the lifting and rigging channel, they'll be like, oh, I know you. You're the guy from all the training videos I've been watching.
That's amazing. That's really cool. No, and that's
what
we want, to build trust, right? The goal is to build trust. Yeah.
We had a piece that Ben did on what the difference of a shackle is, and we even have manufacturers use that to train their own people.
No
So we're
kidding.
using, our content is being used by, the competitors are using it, the manufacturers are using it to train their people, which is really cool.
That's incredible. And that's the power. That's the power of this is when you become the trusted voice in your space, even the manufacturers, even other competitors will start using your content because it's accurate and it's building more trust and it's helping them do their jobs better. So that's just, I don't know, that's unprecedented. I don't feel like that happens very often. So let's talk about this, right? From 2017, when you kicked this off to present day, this can be general, like rough numbers, but like, what have you guys seen as far as growth? Because Mike, you said there's been year over year, every year you're better than last year, which is insane and amazing. So what does that actually quantify and look like? Could you just paint
Yeah.
that picture?
I mean, we've seen upwards of 10x in web traffic from when we started.
Wow.
So, we were, um, I think I mean, really, it's just been steady, consistent growth year over year. And it's something that we measure. It's something we track and we try to stay on top of it. If we start to see anything where, hey, things look like they might be sliding or slipping, it's really great to have access to you guys and your team because you guys kind of can provide that outside perspective. And we've had website consulting calls with you. We've had SEO consulting calls. We've dived into content strategy with you guys and your trainers and coaches. And really, it's so. I think it's almost like that safety net of, hey, what are we not seeing or what are we missing, and how do we get this back on track? And like every time we've been able to course correct and then get back and start seeing that growth again, which is great. But yeah, I mean, we've seen upwards of 10 times the amount of traffic that we were getting in 2017
Wow.
to consistently getting 10 times that month over month over month.
10x. That's huge.
Yeah.
Sign me up. That's amazing. Wow. Good for you guys. And in present day with endless customers and how that looks like for you as a company, Mike, you were saying this a little bit, but the coaching and training to be able to have those resources, do you feel like from like an accountability piece that just keeps you guys on track? And if there are speed bumps, which listen, we're in business, there's always going to be, nothing ever goes perfectly to plan. There's going to be issues and things you got to adjust for. So does that help you guys do that? And do you feel confident as you move forward into the future, having that in your back pocket?
100%. And not only just for accountability, which for Mike and I, we have regular check-ins with the head coach on our team in our account. And, it's kind of like, hey, what's kind of the North Star for you guys this quarter? Let's put a 90-day plan together. What is maybe we've already built that 90-day plan for just our own initiatives. And it's just having you guys aligned to that and help us kind of keep ourselves on track and accountable and make sure that we're utilizing all the tools and resources on our team to the best of our abilities. But you guys have also provided so much value as we've scaled our team. We've used you for onboarding for all of our new content specialists, all of our new videographers. We've kind of been a victim of success. We've brought a lot of new faces onto the team over the years. And a lot of people it's brought a lot of opportunities for people on our team to leave our department and go join another team for another opportunity, which has been great too. But really utilizing you guys for maybe the first 3 to 6 months of those new hires, kind of their first journey into They Ask You Answer, it's really helped maintain the consistency and the quality on our team as well to learn all the best practices and kind of the tips and tricks.
Right. No, that's excellent to hear. You also said something earlier that really stuck with me, having an outside perspective. I think that's something that a lot of businesses tend to have struggles with, and maybe they don't even realize it, where you get so close to it and you're in your business bubble that you almost need somebody from the outside to give you that perspective. Do you feel that that's true, and has that helped you guys on your journey?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I think just having that fresh set of eyes, and really, we try to stay up on best practices and kind of what's going on with HubSpot and all the different tools, Google Analytics, Search Console. AI has been a big one that we've talked with you guys about, maybe what's that doing to what we're seeing with our traffic and maybe our search volume right now. So I think just having, like you said, having you guys in our back pocket is kind of the experts in that realm, and just kind of walking through and diving into the numbers and looking at things to see if we can identify trends, or maybe, like I said, kind of course correct to adjust or account for some of the outside factors that can affect our marketing efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've had an incredible journey, but the future looks just as bright, if not brighter. Where is this taking you over the next year, 3, 5? Like, what does the future look like for you with Endless Customers and with Mazzella Companies?
So I think it's, mentioned it earlier with the revenue team. We've seen the sales team really start to get it. The last couple of events that you guys have put on, the Impact Live, we've had sales leadership. Now we've had some um, regional sales managers start to attend with the marketing team. I believe that we had, you know, 10 people at the last event in Chicago, so which was half marketing and half sales. And I think that's super important going forward that the sales and marketing team are one team because I think that's a real powerful team to, certainly drive revenue going in the right direction.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, and that's something that we say a lot here at Impact, and it's something I learned when I came onto the team here at Impact as well. It's traditionally sales and marketing tend to be in two different lanes, and there's always like this divide line in most organizations and industries where they don't always get along so well. And to bridge those gaps and to be able to have a revenue squad that everyone's on the same team having the same conversations and pushing towards the same strategies and goals, it clearly makes a very big difference.
I think
we've
too.
worked hard. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I said we've worked hard internally that, Mike and I are, bring the marketing representation to the sales meetings. Some of sales leadership comes to the marketing meetings. So we intermix very well internally together.
Yeah.
I think too, we were at the last event in Chicago, and the introduction of the Endless Customers as a framework, and maybe they ask you answer being just a part of that entire strategy. Mike and I just had kind of a debrief with our sales leaders and really used that framework to kind of explain where we're headed with everything. And even just, I think, presenting it in that format of, hey, they ask you answer, I think was always, well, that's a marketing thing. That's what the marketing team did. It really connected everything together in that flywheel concept where I feel like it really resonated more than it ever has. It's the they ask you answer part. It's the assignment selling. It's having our CRM and our ERP integrated, which we're in the process of finalizing right now. It's building that culture of performance and alignment that's going to drive the results that really ultimately our sales team cares about, which is endless customers. So I really feel like that's the best position that you guys have you guys are super aligned now. Like it's a very tight formula and process that can really help make it stick with other organizations.
Thank you.
So kudos to you guys for kind of reframing that.
Thank you so much. No, that's something that we've been working on tirelessly here at Impact, and it's something that we realize too. They Ask You Answer is an incredible framework. Marcus Sheridan, the author and creator of it, it clearly works. It clearly has a proven track record, but we realized that really was focused on the marketing side of the equation. And what's really cool when you come to Impact Live and some of these events and being able to see you guys in person in other companies is you start to have this cross-pollination that happens. And we started to see that They Ask You Answer works with recruiting. It works internally. It's really more of a mentality and a mindset to like help unify your teams to get to your goals and to clearly define these strategies. But the ultimate return is endless customers and having customers that trust you and like you and know you and want to do business with you. So I love hearing you say that because that's been a journey for us too as a company. And we're really excited as we move forward to continue to push that. That's why we have the podcast. We also have some pretty big surprises coming out towards the end of the year. A potential new book is happening. And we also have Impact Live in Hartford at the end of this year, which I hope you guys will be there. I'm sure you will. And we'll get to see you in person again soon because we got a lot of new stuff to share with you.
That's probably one of the hardest parts of our job is trying to figure out who from the team we can bring, because if we could bring everybody, we would.
Yeah, does that turn into like an internal like fight as to who gets the spot to go to the show?
No, I think we try to do a good job of spreading it out so that, some of the newer team members can get exposure to it and to Marcus and to you and your team and maybe meet some of the coaches. But we're always really excited to see what the agenda is going to be, because that also helps kind of influence our decision.
Yeah, so when you guys come to Hartford, you'll have to come here in studio. So instead of doing this virtually next time, you can be sitting right here with me and we can do this in person.
That would be great.
Yeah, we'd love that.
To it.
Yeah, and there's a brewery right next door, so we can grab some beers too. All right, awesome.
Before or after?
Maybe after. I don't know. What do you think? If it'll help you before, we'll do a little bit of both. We'll see.
No, that was
So
good.
one last question for you guys before we
Yeah.
wrap up here. What would you say to other companies that haven't heard about Endless Customers or haven't read the Ask You Answer or haven't been to a Impact Live event, and maybe they were in the same spot you guys were in 2016, 2017, looking for a way to optimize and to take it up a notch?
So this is going to be off the record. No, just kidding. Hey, don't do it. We want to be the preeminent company out there. No, just kidding. Hey, I mean, I think you're missing the boat on it. I mean, this is, you're going to grow exponentially, and um, this could only be good for your organization. And I've seen Marcus speak at, you know, our CEO is part of the Vistage Group. I've seen Marcus speak to other CEOs, and I've had good communication with other CEOs, and they brought their marketing managers and saying, "Hey, you know, you got to commit to it though too. That's the other thing. You just can't say you're going to do it. It's a full-time commitment, both from the people side and the expense side. I mean, I think people don't realize there's a big expense to it. HubSpot's expensive. You're going to hire a video team. The video gear's expensive. It's an all-in for people and resources.
That's a really good point. It is an investment, and it's a substantial investment, and it's something that, depending on where you're at in your business, you really have to look at the books and the numbers to make sure that you can afford it. But clearly, if you're serious about it and you can lean into it, the return on that investment, I mean, Mike, you were saying earlier, 10x on your web traffic. That's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, just month over month, we continue to break records with new leads coming through the website that are getting passed on to our sales teams. It's really exciting. I would just also add too, like, I think 7 years ago, content marketing or inbound marketing, whatever you want to call it, was still kind of revolutionary. I think today, that bar's been dropped with the invention of AI. And, we are seeing some of our customers and others in the industry that are pumping out content. And I think really the value of partnering with you guys goes back to that total framework. You're going to learn how to do it the right way. You're going to learn how to do it so that it gets in front of your customers. You're going to learn how to use the right systems and tools. Your sales team's going to get trained on how to use it as part of their process. And I think that's really, the secret sauce right there. Anybody can go out there and hire somebody to write articles for their website as a freelancer, maybe put a couple videos together. But it's really the whole system that you guys provide and access to your team of experts that, kind of sets the program apart from everything else.
That's a really great point. Yeah, really great point. And it allows you to have ownership, and you guys really do own it. You have your whole entire team, huge internal marketing team. I think your marketing team might even be bigger than our marketing team at this point, which is incredible. And I think that just goes to show you that the ownership piece really allows you to do big things and become the trusted voice in your space and really have the success that you've had. So congratulations.
And we're hiring. So if anybody out there is listening and is interested, we got
We're
5 or
hiring.
6 open positions right now.
Hey, you got to go check out their website, Mazzella Companies. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. Any closing thoughts before we wrap up, guys?
No, I just, I want to thank, we started early on with a lot of great team members. We've seen a big change in your organization, but I think you guys have been consistent, and we appreciate everything you've done along our journey. I think you've learned from us, and we've learned from you. Early on, you had the philosophy, we're going to teach you how to fish. I think you've taught us how to fish, and it's just all kinds of refinements over the years, so I appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate you, and the feeling is mutual. We've learned a lot from you guys and from the team as well. Mike, how about for you? Any closing thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, it's really, the Ask You Answer has been kind of a game changer for me, just personally and professionally as well. I mean, being able to come into an organization like Mazzella Companies and start as a content manager, and I was writing the blogs, and today I'm managing a team of 8 people, including 3 videographers, a video producer, a technical writer, 3 content specialists. It's awesome. It's really changed things for me personally and professionally, and I've seen a lot of growth just by embracing the system and being open to something that I came in at and I was not very good at.
That's a testament though to how great you are and what you bring to the table, and that you continue to grow and learn. And It's well deserved. So great job all around, and congratulations to all your success. Thank you so much for being on Endless Customers. We really appreciate having you guys on the show.
Thank you,
Alex. This was really fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anytime. Like I said, next time when you guys are here in Hartford, we'll have to have you in person. Sound good?
We'll do it live.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, for everybody out there listening and watching, this is Endless Customers. I'm Alex Winter. We'll see you on the next episode.